right, and here is the video review for the ThreeZero Mark 44 Hulkbuster armor from Age of Ultron. It is 1/12 scale, I believe, roughly 6-inch scale, and I say that because the smaller Mark 43 Iron Man that they put out was a little taller than, slightly larger than an average Marvel Legends, which is generally, like I said, 1/12 scales tends to flux a little bit between various lines. The Iron Man was a little on the large side compared to a Marvel Legend. But it stands in this pose with the legs in kind of a slight wider A-frame stance. Stands about 11.5 inches tall, which is about 29 a little over 29.2 centimeters, I think, if I did the math right. So somebody said it doesn't hit the 30 centimeters, and it can get there. If you squeeze the legs together and stand it straight up, it probably hits about 30 centimeters. But it's very large. It's not Hot Toys large, but surprisingly heavy for a figure this size. Like it's dense and oddly hollow. Well, not entirely hollow. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning in person, and it doesn't have posable fingers. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't know why I started there, but like it really is just absolutely gorgeous and detailed all the way around. All these panels move out of the way for posing, and like some of these things are like on the thigh panels here and on the forearms. As you move the things, you can see they're spring loaded, so as you bend them, they'll bend the arm, it'll move out of the way and then spring back into place as you're posing. The head's on a ball joint. Well, like I said, let's do a whole turnaround here. Just amazingly detailed and shiny and just big and heavy. You can see the joints up in here in the shoulders, and just very, very cool. One of the first features, again, we'll show off, turn on during the review, is it does have LEDs. Now, anything in the legs, unless I'm just completely missing something in both the instructions and messing with the toy, the leg LEDs look like they're made out of the same. Actually, they probably are made out of the same stuff that lights up on the upper torso, but it's mostly just the torso and the head that lights up. You'll need 7 AG1 batteries. Actually, you know what? I have them right here. Let me see if I can tell you, because they go by a lot of different names. L621, which are LR60s, 164s, 364s, or AG1. Some really tiny button cell batteries. You'll need 7 of them because 2 go in the helmet, 2 go in the chest, and 3 go in the back. And then the helmet, one, to pop the helmet off to get to the battery pack, it's on a hinge, and I tried pulling and pulling and pulling, and I didn't, and it was to the point where like I was worried I was going to break the hinge, and I found that if you kind of pull up gently while twisting the head, it tends to come off a little easier like that, versus really pulling on it. But yeah, the helmet comes off. There's 2 screws right there. The battery goes in, and this little panel right here, as you just kind of flip it forward, lights the eyes up on and off. So it's just that you can just lift it up a little bit, get your thumb under there to turn the lights on and on. But we'll go ahead and leave those on. And then you just snap it back into place onto the ball joint. You may actually need to, can I get my thumb under there? I don't think I can. Nope, I'm going to have to open it up. I think. Can't make it down. Oh, there we go. We snapped it on without having to open it all up. Because we are going to open it all up. We'll get to that. And then here, you have to, when it's open all up, this panel comes off, and then you unscrew a thing. But then this, you just push in. So now his eyes and his chest panel are lit up. And then on the back, this gold panel, kind of pop these pieces off the side and wiggle it. This gold panel comes off. There's a screw right there. 3 batteries go in behind it, and then the on-off switch is just right above that. Hold on. Why are they? Oh, they're lighting up. Those batteries may be dim. It's not showing here, but these 2 lights and right here all light up. I don't know. Let's see if we can. Yeah, they're not lighting up as brightly as they have in the past. And it could just be because my batteries are. But you can see that there is a light on in there. There is off, on. You can kind of see it flicker bright But these are, I may have grabbed some older batteries and maybe they just aren't lasting as long. But the back does light up as well. So we'll change that. And then you can just put this panel back on. Let's go ahead and leave that on with those. Burn out, we'll put some new batteries in it later on. Because you see, the back lights with full batteries do light up just as bright as these front lights here. So yeah, he's big, he's posable, he's hefty. Like I said, he doesn't come with articulated fingers. He comes with 3 sets of hands. You've got the fists, which come attached. You've got kind of loose hands, just kind of just neutral hands, open hands, and then you've got open repulsor hands. And again, the repulsors here on the hands don't light up. They're just kind of painted silver. Would have been cool if they could have fit a little button cell in there, but again, would have raised the cost as well. And to swap the hands out, it's a little difficult. You just pop. It's not super hard to pop the hand off. It can be a little difficult popping the next hand back on, just because it takes a little bit more force than you would want. But as long as you securely grab the whole forearm and push on it, it shouldn't be much of a problem for you. But it's like there's an open hand, and if you want them to be shooting a repulsor blast, oh, that's the wrong thumb, because there you can see the joint. It's not on the same, I don't want to say plane, but it takes a little force. But you can have him reach up and put his hand out in a repulsor blast, or just say, hey Hulk, stop it, knock it off. We don't want any of that right now. Or just wave. You know, he's just waving to you. Although I have noticed that once you put a hand on and off the first time, it's a lot harder the first time than subsequent times. It doesn't get looser. It's just that initial pop on and off is a little bit more difficult than subsequent ones. But yeah, he's big. He's heavy. Like I said, weighs a ton. Not a literal ton, but he's big. You see a lot of these panels, how they slide, move around for posing. These little panels right here can unclip and move out to allow for leg room. These panels up here can rotate here, as well as come out on a hinge to give you some more room when posing the arms. So make sure to be aware of that, because you don't want to ding up. It's a very nice shiny red finish, and you don't want to scratch that all up just moving it around and forcing things. But yeah, so you've got, let's just move these out of the way. So you've got a full, you see how that whole piece moves, and a swivel there. You got a swivel there at the bicep. You got dual hinged elbows that can move all the way there. Obviously the ball joint at the wrist. I don't think there's a forearm swivel. You can get those out of the way. He's got side to side there. He does have an ab crunch as well there. He's got like one at the top and then underneath that whole piece. So you can see it exposes all the details back here, but pretty good crunch. The panels, the legs can come out front to back, ratchet to the front. You can see how that kind of ratchets in there. It does have a thigh swivel, although again, because of just the bulk of the armor, it doesn't have a whole lot of range, but you can thigh swivel. He's got, and again, that'll drop down as you bring his leg back. He's got a dual hinge knee. You can see even this armor piece will automatically kind of fold out as you bend the knee, and then straighten it back out. And that, as you bring that up, kind of automatically slides right back up into place there. He's got some ankle tilt. Again, it's mostly limited by some of the detailing on the figure itself. But he's got ankle tilt side to side and front to back. Got some toe action going on up here. Although again, just be careful because it is a little limited and you don't want to scratch up the plates. So very, very posable, very detailed, very cool. His head is, like I said, is on that ball joint on the hinge. And you may have noticed it's a little hollow under there, and we'll get to that in a minute. The one thing I want to talk about before we get to that cool part is both of these forearm panels. And I'm going to do this side, it's a little less finicky. You can open this up and then bring this up and around, kind of angle it up like that. And then this piece, this little pile driver thingy comes out, folds down like that, and then both of these little taser barrel type things come out on either side of it. So he's got He's got the little forearm, functional forearm weapon. And he's got that on both sides. This one, the little side barrels are a little loose, so as soon as I start to move the armor, they automatically kind of slide out. But, come here, there we go. You can do that on both sides, give him some extra hidden weapons in there, in the forearms, which is cool. So I fold all that back up in there first, and then, yeah, see that those like to come out on their own. And fold that down like that, and slide it back up like that. There we go. And then the cool part is if you have, first off, just size comparison. There it is with the previous Mark 43. I'll go ahead and turn his lights on too. Come on, slide off helmet. There we go. Oh, see, I keep doing that in a way where, like, sliding the helmet back on hits that button again and turns the lights back off, and I don't want that to happen. There we go. So there they are standing together, just to give you an idea about how big he is. And they look cool together, but just like in the movie. So take these shoulder pieces out on that hinge first, and then untab all 4 of these gold pieces, and these panels will wiggle up and lift up and out of the way on that same kind of double hinge. It's not quite as dramatic as this one, but you lift those up and out of the way, and then these panels right here will open up from here and fold down, and then these inner panels right here open up and widen out to the side. And once you've got those out of the way, this whole center panel lifts easily up to show half a cockpit there. You can't do the whole thing, but opens up to form the cockpit. And you do want to make sure these are open first, like, and when closing it all back up, close this down and then fold these over it. You can technically move this neck panel past these without moving them, but there's clearance, like it's going to scrape against that. So just make sure those are open before you move the head up or down. And before we get to even putting the whole figure in there, what's really cool about this, because you have to take the torso off of this guy to stick it in here, but before you do that, you can take this panel off his back for the use of the stand that came with him initially, that came with the smaller figure, and it actually has a port in here, so you can put the stand in the inside. You can plug it into the inside the armor, so I can get it to go in there all the way. So you can have, again, you have to get the blast effects out, but you can have Iron Man. Either you can pose it so he's just kind of standing, coming out of the armor, or flying out of the armor. But yeah, you can use that. I guess, yeah, here we go. You can have it so he's kind of standing. Come on. That's what I get for not pre-posing this, but so he's kind of coming out as if he were stepping up out of the armor after the fight, which is really cool. Like, they didn't have to incorporate that. Granted, it is just pretty much a peg hole in here, but it is kind of cool that they did that, so you've got some action options for using displaying both whole figures together. Now that said, for full integration, you pop this apart at the torso. It's got that peg for that, so just pull this apart at the torso, and then you have to pull his arms off straight out of here. And there's a little clip there. It just clips right in there, so you just pull that straight out. So you've got just this torso bit. Seems a little morbid, but once it's all done, it's pretty cool. And then you can take this little port, make sure the shoulders are folded in enough to fit in through here. And then you can take this bit and integrate it into the suit, so you can have the Mark 43 inside the Mark 44. which is cool. I like, if you just want to display it like this, I think that's kind of neat and kind of give him a. I'm loading up, getting ready to fight, but he isn't all tucked away yet. And because of the way this hinge works on the helmet and the hollowness up here, you can actually leave him in. I wouldn't leave his LEDs on if you're doing this, but I'm going to do it for the video. But you can just fold that down. Again, be gentle. Fold that down right over his head. Close up those panels. Make sure that these panels go over the neck piece. You can see how that little gold piece just went under there. So this clearly had not come down all the way yet. There we go. Close that back up over that, and then close these panels up and peg the gold pieces right into there to the bottom of those silver pieces. Fold these back down and in, and then clip all 4 of these back into place like that, and then fold the shoulders back in, and there you go. No fuss, no muss. Tony's in the suit. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. This is the first like high-end Hulkbuster. I don't even think I got the. I love the design. I had the Hot Toys one on pre-order for a while, and then when it came time for it to be ready, I'm just like, I just do not have the space for this in my house. So I canceled it. But and then I don't even think I got the Marvel Legend Build-A-Fig. So this is the first official Hulk. I didn't get the figure arts or any of the ones. Okay, I don't need to list every version of it. But yeah, this is one. It's fantastic. It's cool. It's big without taking up all the shelf space that the Hot Toys or the larger scale ones would have. And I'm really happy to have it. Just for size, here he is with, now that I know I'm saying it right, Caucus Planet X, who is already fairly large. And you can see he's even bigger and certainly much heavier than Caucus. And Caucus was already pretty heavy. But yeah, he's big and massive. Here he is with a Masterpiece Thundercracker, just because that's the Masterpiece I had easily available. And for more of a mainline toy, here he is with the Netflix Soundwave Voyager class figure. So, I mean, like I said, he's not the biggest Hulkbuster figure we have gotten on the market, but he's not minuscule by any means. So yeah, super stoked to check him out. This was a review sample sent, so I feel like these usually from ThreeZero, these generally mean you should be seeing these at retailers soonish. So if you've got one on pre-order, get ready, he's coming. But there is the Infinity War Age of Ultron Mark 44 Hulkbuster armor from ThreeZero.